Hey, good evening guys. So glad you are joining me tonight. So if you noticed, I did not go live Saturday and Sunday, and that's because I did my 30 days in a row. And so now we're just kind of still trying to figure out how we're going to do this next aspect of this. We want to keep going live. People really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. But we're still trying to figure out how to structure it. So we are going to take the weekends off, give me a little bit of space and time to be with the family. But still trying to go live during the week. And we'll see this week. I'm traveling most of this week up to British Columbia, then to Salt Lake City, Utah. So I'll definitely try to do some from the road. It may not be the exact same time, but definitely try to bring maybe some guests on this week too, with who I'm traveling with. We'll see how that works. So we had 3 questions tonight. Wanted to jump into them. The first one was from Chris. Chris asks, I've been struggling with carrot seed spacing with my Earthway seeder. I've read with interest the post about creating seed tape, and we'll experiment with that later. I would not recommend seed tape unless you're going to do something with like a paper pot, and then direct seed into the paper pot cells, and then wait till they come up, and then plant them out that way. To me, the seed tape just is too much work. Okay, so JM specifies a spacing of 1.25 for carrots, but the Earthway seed plates space the seed at 4.5 inches. I know that a number of people here have been successful with their Earthways and carrot seed. Has anyone also tried making multiple passes to increase the density? Yes, that's been done. Does it work? Yes, as I have seen suggested elsewhere. Does it create nasty clumps of carrots to be thinned out? And making tight rows of carrots, do some of the seeds get pushed aside with multiple passes, affecting the straightness of the rows? Well, great question. Carrots are a toughie, and we did a lot of carrots. We would usually grow between a half and an acre of carrots every year on our farm. So how we were doing is we were doing it the Earthway, and really liked the Earthway for seeding. And we would actually try to get as thick a stand as possible, but we were seeding 14 inches apart too. So kind of, let's see if I can sketch this a bit. So some people are putting their rows super close together like this, maybe 7-8 rows on a bed, but they're putting them rather farther apart in the row. So they're putting farther apart. But when we were doing it, we were doing 4 rows per bed. So we were on 72-inch centers with our tractor, and we've definitely done 30-inch beds before as well. So we recommend you can do it all different ways. And then we were doing super tight along there. So we were kind of more doing a band of carrots through there. And a lot of the commercial guys are actually seeding double rows right next to each other with larger spaces in between for cultivation. So if you're going to try to cultivate with finger weeders, or you're trying to cultivate with like a basket weeder, you definitely need enough space for that basket to get through there. So there are different ways to seed it. So we were seeding with the Earthway, usually 1 pass. We did do some jang as well to get a little bit thicker in some places, depending on the type of seed, the size of the seed, the germ of the seed, that sort of thing. But to get high germ, you're going to want to either use row cover over the rows just to kind of keep the moisture in. So with carrot seed, they're so close to the surface and they're so small, you want to be irrigating every single day, or sometimes even multiple times a day, to keep the surface of that soil wet. And that will double or triple your germination. You'll be amazed that when you figure out, when you keep that moist, that the germ will just skyrocket, because you've been losing half or 3/4 of your seeds because of the it drying out. So, and then for spacing too, so we're looking at 30 seeds a foot at least, sometimes 40 seeds a foot with a smaller seed with the Earthway. That's what we're getting with the Earthway. And we'd have a wide band of carrots, 2 or 3 carrots wide in some places, and they would grow just fine. It's all about, again, really good soil, having that soil where it needs to be, and planting them at the right time. So early spring plantings and later fall plantings would actually be the best times. Midsummer, you're struggling a little bit with the heat, but it can still be done. So that's just kind of what I'm thinking there. I think a lot of this really comes down to too is, what does success look like? So when you get out into some farms and see some really good carrot operations, and I've definitely seen some massive operations in Quebec. I've seen some rather large CSAs that do 2 or 3 acres of carrots. So when you see that and how success looks like on those farms, then you're like, oh, I've been screwing it up all these years, and that was my story too. A couple of years we had horrible luck with carrots until we actually saw how people did it and how the commercial scale was done. So